Hi everyone, in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to get that smooth outer coat of buttercream that everyone always asks me about. I'm going to show you how, coming right up. Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Amy from Neurotic Mom Bakes. This is one of my most commonly asked questions. How do you get your buttercream smooth on the side? I always get air bubbles. I can never get it smooth. How do you do it? So this tutorial, I'm going to show you tips and tricks to achieve that ever elusive smooth buttercream. It is difficult, and it is the most difficult part of decorating the cake. I will say, just be prepared for that. Sometimes, and gosh, some days it works better than others, and some days I am just fighting with that buttercream, and it can be really tricky. So I'm just going to show you the tricks that I use to get it as smooth as possible. All right, so I've already got my cake. It's stacked and it's crumb coated. I have some previous tutorials on how I stack and fill and crumb coated cake and get it ready to decorate. I've already done that, and it's nice and chilled, and I am ready to put on my outer or final coat of buttercream. Trick number one, give your buttercream a really good stir. Like, whip it, beat it, get all those air bubbles out. So yeah, in order to try to minimize the air bubbles on the side, this will help. However, it's not going to completely eliminate them. Okay, but it's going to help. Now you can either fill a piping bag and pipe all the way around, or I just like to just put a whole bunch on top and then just kind of start smoothing it around, pulling it out, pushing it out to the sides, and it kind of falls down the side a little bit. And then I'll just kind of start smoothing it over the sides, working from top to bottom. And be generous with your buttercream. You want a fairly thick coat. I'm using my creamsicle buttercream today, and I have a tutorial and recipe for that you need to go check out because it is so good. It's like an orange vanilla flavor. So that's what I'm making today. Now, so make sure you get the buttercream all the way down to the bottom. It doesn't look pretty right now, that's okay, it doesn't need to. And I'm just gonna get my cake scraper, and I wanna do this all in one pull. So I'm gonna reach around and start all the way around here so that I can just drag and pull this around in one go. Okay, look at that. Not even close to perfect, right? Air bubbles galore, it's patchy, it's not frosted on the bottom. That's okay. That's totally and completely normal. Now what I like to do is I like to take the buttercream off the scraper and just patch all those holes. See all these holes right here? We're just patching them up, filling them in. And then I'm going to do that again. You're gonna wanna hold it about at a 45-degree angle, not pressing too terribly hard, but enough pressure to scrape it clean. And I'm just going to keep repeating that process. Okay, now you can see the second pass, it's a little smoother. Now look, air bubbles. Okay, let me show you how to fix those because they can happen. If you can get a close-up on that, there's an air bubble there, there's a little one there. That just happens sometimes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna poke it with a toothpick, get the air out, and then we're gonna smooth it again. Yeah, for whatever reason, I've got more than my usual amount of air bubbles. Now, just repeat the process. Fill it in. It's a little bit more smooth now though, so it's a little bit easier. I actually want to go ahead and smooth my top out a little bit, just so then I'll know if there's anything at the top that needs to be filled in, like right here. Now it helps if you have multiple scrapers. If you don't, just wipe it down a little bit. You'll have more success if it's a clean scraper. However, I have multiple of these because they're really inexpensive. And I'm just gonna go again. And with each pass, it should get smoother and smoother. But really, sometimes I spend 20, 30 minutes doing this. Like I said, some days, I don't know what happens to the buttercream or the cake. Sometimes it's the weather, honestly. Really, it really can be the weather. If it's humid or if it's really dry. There we go, it's getting closer. And then I will show you how to clean up the bottom of this cake board as well. So you don't need to worry about that. See, we're getting there. The more you're working with this buttercream, the fewer air bubbles, I guess. You're kind of working the air bubbles out as you're working this buttercream. I would just say a moderate amount of pressure. If it's too light, you won't smooth it all out. If it's too much pressure, then you'll pull some of that buttercream off. You don't want that. It just takes some practice. But do you see how close I'm getting to that perfectly smooth coat? We are so close. I mean, you could leave it here. I'm just being super, super picky and patching the teeny tiniest of holes. But it's from from 2 feet away, you can't even see them. I'm just gonna be really particular. Okay, this might be it. This might be my last one. That is just near as perfect as you can get it. Okay, so I have a clean rag here and I have my offset spatula. Now all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get eye level with the cake and pull in the top. I'm gonna wipe off the excess and then wipe the spatula clean. Okay, now just to smooth out the top a little bit, what I'll do is I'll just kind of spin it as I go around. And then same thing, if there's anything on the top, just patch it up a little bit. There we go, and then do it again until it's smooth to your liking. Now, if you're covering it with swirls or a drip, it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. Now, just to finish it off, I'm gonna just get the bottom edge and kind of hold it away and just barely go around, kind of that lip that hold it over, smooth it out, just barely, the lightest touch. And then same thing, just drag and pull it in. And we have nice, crisp, clean edges, perfectly smooth buttercream, and a cake that is ready to be finished off with some drip or some swirls or sprinkles at the bottom. Now, I told you I would show you how to clean up the bottom. I'm just gonna get a clean spatula and scrape off the excess. This buttercream is usually dried out by now, so I'm not gonna put it back in the bowl. And then I will get a clean part of my rag and just kind of, not quite touching the cake, but right up next to it. Then I'm just gonna put my spatula, I'm gonna cover it with the rag and just go right up against the cake, clean it up. And then I'm gonna just get my pinky and lightly smooth anything out that needs to be smoothed out. And there you have it. I usually give my cakes away, so I give them on these cake drums, these disposable, recyclable cake drums that are inexpensive. If you're transferring a cake with a cake lifter onto a platter, you don't need to worry about smoothing the bottom as much or cleaning up the board. But there is our, oh my gosh, perfectly smooth, level cake ready to be decorated. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful for you and answered some of your questions so that next time you try this, you can get that smooth outer coat of buttercream. If you want to see more tutorials like this one, make sure you subscribe to my channel. See you next time.